Roomies. Welcome
Hello.
back. I'm Maria. This is Lindsay, and we are real life former college roommates who love movies. And Lindsay has a degree in film. I was a media reviewer critic for like 20 something years. And what we're doing here is going over the movies we missed. So this time it was my turn to suggest a movie for Lindsay to watch for the first time. And I suggested 2002's Brown Sugar starring Taye Diggs and Sanaa Latham, which Lindsay had never seen.
Not once.
Amazing. Because I remember this being extremely popular, particularly thanks to all the people in hip hop who were like involved with the movie and the soundtrack and stuff. So there was the whole thing with Common and Erykah Badu, like kind of re-releasing his song "I Used to Love Her" with Erykah Badu on it now as well. Do you remember that song?
No, I remember Love of My Life though.
That's the song.
Oh,
Love of My Life.
That's supposed to be a remake to I Used to Love
Her? It's kind of like a remake of I Used to Love Her because it samples so much of that song.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never picked up on that. Okay.
Have you heard I Used to Love Her?
Yeah.
By Common?
I'm not a big Common fan, so.
I wouldn't say that I am either, but I like that song a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I always like that song a lot.
Yeah.
And Love of My Life.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a part 2 to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew that. Now I love Love of My Life, but I could have done without Common.
You can't.
I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of Common.
I mean, because I used to love her, you know. So
yeah. But did you know that like I Used to Love Her was kind of like what started him and Ice Cube's beef?
Oh, I never knew they had a beef.
Yeah, they had a beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's how I know the song, but I don't really know anything about like.
Like
you're saying, you're not a Common fan. I'm like, not either. I just really like the song.
Yeah.
So,
right. Yeah. Now I do like Testify. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, but am I gonna just be like, hey, put on that Common? No, I'm not gonna do that.
So this movie is kind of like the song, basically. I Used to Love Her. Because he's like, in the song, he's like, I met this girl when I was 9 years old, and when I loved most, she has so much soul, right? And it kind of describes his relationship with hip hop, kind of like a back and forth, and like they break up, they change, they come back together, you know, they have a new understanding of each other and stuff like that. So then you get Love of My Life, which Erykah Badu kind of describes a similar relationship, but from her perspective with hip hop.
Yeah.
And so then we have Brown Sugar. We have Taye Diggs playing Dre, who's like an A&R guy at this record label called Millennium. And then you have Sanaa Latham, who's playing Sydney, who is a writer for XXL. And she's like, you know, always doing interviews and stuff on Hot 97 or whatever. And they've grown up as childhood best friends in New York. You know, they both fell in love with hip hop on the same day, you know, because they were both from the Bronx. So they got to see everything happening in real time. So both really grown up with it and kind of like made their whole lives about it, really, right? And we start off with him. Basically, Dre's going to marry this girl that he's been dating for maybe a few months or so. Played by Nicole Ari Parker. And oh gosh, yes, Reese. Her name is Reese. And Sid is like, "You sure you want to marry her? Because you just know you haven't really been together that long."
Yeah, you know, questions that normal people would ask. So
yeah, absolutely. You know, so they want to get married. She's an attorney in the entertainment field as well, so that's kind of like how they met. And then it goes pretty quickly. The night before the wedding, Dre comes over to Sid's place, and they end up kissing, you know. And she's like, she's like, you know, maybe you should leave. You're supposed to get married tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then she's like, are you sure that you still want to get married tomorrow? And he's like, yeah, I love her. Love her so much. I want to get married tomorrow.
Yeah, very convincing.
Right, very convincing. And then at the wedding, it's a pretty small party, and Sanaa, Latham, Sid is best friends with Queen Latifah's character. What was
no, their cousins.
Oh, they're cousins. Well, they're cousins and like best friends. Like we don't really see her talking to anybody else other than Dre, right? And they're at the wedding, and Francine knows everything that's going on. You know, she actually had helped Sid shop for like a bridal shower gift.
Yeah.
Which ended up being like a thong with a zipper on the front.
Right. I'm like, that's a bachelor party gift, not a bridal shower.
It's a bachelorette party gift. Yeah. And everybody, the bachelorette party is like kind of prim and proper, except for one auntie who's the only one who's down to have fun.
Okay. She was ready for the bachelorette party.
Yes. So anyway, they're at the wedding, and Francine, you know, she knows about the kiss or whatever, and she's being so loud. She's being so loud. I was like, oh my God, could you just be a little, oh, it's so loud right now.
Right. Can we have this conversation afterwards?
Okay. Outside this very echoey wedding hall.
Right.
Because she's talking to her about like, that's your man. You need to go get him. Da-da-da. He doesn't really love her. You need to stand up before they say their I do's, you know, whatever. Right. And like to the point where, yes. And the dude who's officiating the wedding is like trying to talk louder, to talk over her. And at one point, at one point, you really think he's just going to turn around and go, shh. Like,
right. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
And everybody around them starts staring at them and everything. And I'm like, oh my God. So embarrassing.
Yeah, just a tad.
Yes. So around this time, Sid is also kind of avoiding doing this interview for this basketball player. But eventually she gives in to do it with this basketball player called Kelby Dawson, who's played by Boris Kodjoe. I think Boris Kodjoe and Nicole Ari Parker are married.
Yeah, they're married with kids. Yeah. They've been married for a long time too.
Mm-hmm. So she goes on this interview. Francine is like, no, we gotta treat this like a date. So she like has her get her hair done and like get her a dress or whatever. And it really, the only thing about this is like they're standing outside the hair salon while they're having this conversation about this interview. Mm-hmm. And we go from that to her being at the restaurant like immediately. And I was like, oh, I feel like there's a lot cut out there.
Yeah, I mean, they probably could have done a montage, but with the movie being almost 2 hours long, I can see why they cut it.
Yeah, for sure. Because there are other montages in here as well. And I was like, oh, I feel like there's something on the floor there, but it works. It's fine. And she shows up and she's like wearing very low cuts, you know, whatever, got her hair all done. And they get all flirty. And like the next day he's sending her so many roses.
Yeah, a house full.
You know, to ask her out on a date, just like totally love bombing her, honestly. And then because she's getting this attention, Dre is suddenly like, wait a minute. You know, how sad to me. Dre is an emotional terrorist, okay?
That's a good way to put it.
Yes. And I remember like when this came out, a lot of people were talking about this, comparing it to Love and Basketball. Right? Because a lot of people really, really love Love and Basketball. Which I never have.
Yeah, I do not like that movie.
Yeah. I never have, and I've never really quite understood why people really seem to love it so much.
I don't get it either.
Because it's struggle love. Like
yeah. It's Yeah, and I have been vocal about it online too. Like,
me too.
Yeah,
I don't get the love for that movie.
But I do see the parallels though.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, we still don't have a lot, and there still wasn't at this time like a whole lot of Black romance movies. So of course they're going to be compared to each other, and Sanaa Latham's in both of them, so of course they're going to be compared to each other.
Right.
You know? But when it came to like these two, I always preferred this one. But still, both the men are horrible in these movies. I'm just like, oh man, why? Why does this keep happening to Sanaa Latham?
I mean, she ain't the best either.
Yeah, but she's not out here being an emotional terrorist to people in the same way.
I feel like they're kind of the same.
No. Mm-mm. Not at all.
They kind of did it to both. They kind of did it to each other.
No. But so they get married, of course, and they're having let's see, where were we? All right. So right, there was the whole ceremony. It was very embarrassing. Right? Kind of embarrassing.
A little bit.
Huh?
I said a little bit.
A little bit. Quite. Yeah. And she's, going out with this NBA player now and all this stuff. And now Dre is like, but I really kind of like you too, And at the same time, he's also trying to kind of like sign this artist who's being played by
Most Def.
Most Def. I almost said somebody else. Who's being played by Most Def. His name in the movie is Cavi. And he's, like an underground rapper. And then also he's a taxi cab driver for his day job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dre is really loving his vibe and everything. He really wants to get on the label, but his label's not really hearing it. They want to sign this group called Ren 10, which is this duo of rappers. One is Ren, one is 10, one is black, one is white. Their whole thing is that, that's their whole gimmick,
Yeah.
They dress up as like Dalmatians, basically.
You're right. They're the hip hop Dalmatian duo.
Mm-hmm. They took a fashion cue from Cruella de Vil, and they wear like Dalmatian printed matching jogging suits.
Fur.
Mm-hmm.
They're fur.
Mm-hmm. 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 With the head wrap and everything, like the do-rag and everything, both of them.
Yeah, both of them. Both.
They want to do a song called "The Hoe Is Mine," like from Flip on the Boy Is Mine.
No, the girl.
No, it's a Flip on the Boy Is Mine.
No, it's Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. That's where they got it from. Brandy and Monica.
Okay, but yeah, but that's what they want to do is "The Hoe Is Mine." They're like, what is it? What's it like? I want to be first in line, whatever. Like, it's bad, right?
Yeah, it was horrible.
So the way the label is going, Dre is really not happy about it. They really want him to promote Ren 10. He is not about Ren 10
at all. He didn't even know they got signed.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. His boss is like, I saw them and I signed them immediately. He's like, what?
Yeah. Sidebar: Wendell Pierce has been the same age for the past 35 years. Like,
yes. Because man has not aged a day past like 38, maybe. I like
right, because he's on Raising Kanan.
So, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so I just saw him a couple days ago watching that episode. I turned around and watched this, and I'm like, wow, he's like literally the same age.
Oh, he stays working. He stays working. Yes. Okay, because he was in Twilight.
I've seen Twilight. I didn't know he was
in the last Twilight movie.
Okay. They're all a blur to me. Like, that's a whole nother story. But anyway.
But yeah, so he's not feeling fulfilled at work. He's not liking this direction. He wants to take it back to like real hip hop, and he feels like Cavi is that way. So he quits his job at this record label without having any kind of backup or anything. He goes after Cavi, and then he goes to Sid and tells her about like what he wants to do with his record label and everything. She really loves it. She thinks it's a great idea and writes him a check, immediately.
Yeah.
Only thing is he hasn't told his wife yet.
No, all of this happened in the same day.
All the same day. Right. Mm-hmm. So he goes to tell his wife, and then he mentions like Sydney, and she was like, you told her first?
Yeah. Yeah.
He is the problem in this movie.
I don't feel he's the only problem. I feel like they're both a problem. I feel like they're both a problem. No. And she did mention the fact that when they were in college, he did, approach her to see about, a romantic relationship, and she shot him down. So it's like she shot him down, and then he moved on, and now you got all these feelings.
No, because she's not. Because the thing is, like, he's the one who takes all the action, and she actually is like trying to get him to stop and think, and he won't.
But sometimes you can't just stop and think. No, and thinking is what got her married. But thinking is what got her single after he tried to approach her.
What?
Yeah, she probably was stopping and thinking when he was just, going off of his, off of his heart when he did try to approach her about something serious.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand.
Why? Why doesn't that make any sense?
Because it doesn't make any sense. He's about to get into a lifetime commitment. And she's like, maybe you should stop and think about this. And he's like, oh, no, I just kissed you. Never mind. I don't even think about this. Let me get married tomorrow.
I mean, but what would be the alternative for him to not
get married?
Nah, it's too much money invested at this point.
That doesn't matter.
No, you better follow through.
No, you don't.
Got my people you just cheated
on your fiance the night before your wedding. Follow through. No, stop.
Because you had every opportunity to back
out. Stop trolling me, Lindsay.
You had every opportunity to back out. You could have.
He had the opportunity to back out. He's the one in the committed relationship. He's the one who should be going to his life partner to tell him about life decisions that he is making that will affect their lives together.
It's too much. It's too much moving parts involved to stop everything.
No.
You gonna marry me? Shoot, forget that. You gonna marry me?
And then he also he never tells her about like what he and Sid did ever.
Yeah, he shouldn't have.
He should. Yes, he should, because she comes to him like, we never tried to work it out. We should try and work it out, blah, blah, blah. And that was the time he should have told her what happened.
But that would have made things even worse.
No, because they were already, it would have made things honest.
Yeah, honesty sometimes is overrated.
No, it's not. But anyway, he didn't tell her first. He told Sid first, and of course, she has a problem with that. That's reasonable. Him making that decision, of course, she's like super shocked. Like, why would you make this decision without consulting me? And he's like, well, I had to. I feel like I really had to, whatever. And I get what he's saying, but also he's like upset with her for being upset about it. But you've been thinking about this for so long. You also had like all day to process it, and you just told her, give her some space to react. Yeah. I think she gets the chance to be upset for a little bit.
Right. I felt like that was completely unreasonable, and it was very selfish because like if he was single, that would be one thing. But the fact that he is married, like y'all are a union, y'all supposed to make decisions like this together. You can't make a financial decision that will impact me as well so impulsively. And that was completely selfish, because at the end of the day, if he's talking about starting this record label, that's going to be like a grassroots type of thing. Money's going to be tight, and she got to cover both. So that's not fair.
No, not at all. So that of course puts a major problem in their marriage. And then at this time, Sid is also like on this date with the NBA player, and they have come back to her place. He's on the phone with her whispering.
That was funny.
It was funny. Taye Diggs is actually very funny in this. They have really good chemistry. You can totally understand their relationship and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he's whispering, telling her to be quiet too. Right. Is he over there? He's just trying to get the draws. I know, man. Right. She's like, well, his game worked. He's like, Sydney. He's
And then his wife catches him on the phone in the middle of the night whispering to Sydney. That, yes. Of course, she doesn't know the context, but just the optics were horrible.
Horrible. Yeah. Because it's like the same day.
Right. Right. You're whispering on the phone to her. Like,
you just had this argument. You couldn't talk to her tomorrow?
Dude, like, what is so important that you got to talk to her and whisper at that? Like, that was crazy.
So you see what I'm saying?
I'm saying both.
Nah.
I'm saying both, yeah.
I mean, she had feelings, but she was responsible with her shit for the most part. For the most part. She wasn't out here, you know, for the most part.
She wasn't too responsible. Well, we'll get to it.
She was the one who was married. So that's my whole thing.
Okay. That's fair.
So, also they have this Francine has this like New Year's Eve party dinner thing. Mm-hmm. And Dre gives this toast where he talks about, it's been such a crazy year. I got married to this beautiful young woman beside me, and then I also left my label and started a new one, And then he also is like, thanks Sydney, his best friend. You are the perfect verse over a tight beat or something. And and his wife looks jealous, and then Kelby looks like, oh, I need to do something. So
yeah,
he goes and proposes to Sid, even though it's also been only a few months since they've known each other.
Right.
She accepts. At first,
reluctantly.
She says, yes. It takes a minute, and she's like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. What do you mean? That sounds like a no to me. Right. Right. This was a yes to say.
It's a yes on her question. You know what to say, girl.
Right. Right. This was a yes to say face. Like, she didn't mean that shit. Mm-hmm. That's why she's the problem.
She felt pressured to say yes.
Yeah. But that's why she's the problem too.
Well, that's why you should also, you don't know what to say, girl. That's a no.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But, she says yes, and Dre has a problem with that.
Yeah. And he voiced it.
Mm-hmm. Several times.
Yeah.
Getting on her last nerve.
Yeah.
To the point where she's like, if you just can't be happy with me, leave me alone.
Yeah.
So I get that. He thinks Kelby's like inauthentic or whatever. And the thing is, like, at this same party, Kelby goes up to Cavi. He's like, I want to be a rapper, whatever. I think you could be like my rap coach, And Mos Def is also really good in his role as Cavi as well. He's very funny. And you buy him in it as well, of course, because it's not that far off.
Yeah.
Him and Cavi going, not him and Cavi, but Cavi and Kelby going back and forth is pretty funny. Because we also have had those NBA players who tried to turn into rappers, and I don't think any of them worked out.
Shaq.
Oh, yeah. What was Shaq's last hit?
Well, it ain't about the last hit. It's the fact that he had hits.
He did?
Uh-huh. Yes. 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 Okay. I love the West Side. It's time to party whenever Superman is in the house. Yep, that one. And then you can't stop the rain. You can't stop the rain. No, when it starts to fall. When it starts to fall. Yeah. Yeah. That song, he had Biggie on that song.
I don't know that one. I remember hearing the first one, but I don't know the second one.
Yeah, yeah. You catch the skating ring on the right night, they gonna play that first song. Still to this day. Yeah. No. And then he's DJing now. He like goes on tour DJing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Shaq is talented. Shaq is talented.
So what's a Shaq lyric you remember?
What was a Shaq run? Mm-hmm. I love the West Side. No. I don't remember. I ain't even gonna front. I don't remember an actual Shaq lyric, but I remember the songs. Yeah. But like, let's see, who else was out here rapping? Remember Allen Iverson was supposed to come out and be a rapper, and they said it was so offensive that they was like, he can't do it. So
how dare you?
Yeah, so he was saying a whole lot of stuff that you cannot do as an NBA player. So I never heard
women like every other NBA player instead. We don't care about that.
Right. But I never heard him, so I don't know how good he was. But I do remember Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, trying to rap. He rapped on a song with Brian McKnight back when we used to like Brian McKnight. It was horrible. It was horrible. And it was so bad. He was supposed to put out an album. It was so bad they scrapped that album because it was that bad.
Yeah.
And then more recently, D Wade put out a song with Rick Ross.
Oh, okay.
Like a few years ago. But it was just like a bucket list type thing. So he wasn't he was taken seriously. Yeah. Right. It was just something like he wanted to do a song. Okay. So yeah. Then there's countless videos of LeBron rapping over people's songs, and those are always entertaining. But yeah, but other than that, I can't think of none off the top of my head.
Yeah, so it's not a particularly successful transition.
No, not really. Oh, how can I forget the dude? One of the Ball brothers. What's his name? LeVar.
Oh, the Ball brothers.
Yeah. Okay, one of them. He just can't. Yeah, the Whoa song. You see you in the whoa. Whoa. Like it's like a big hit. Like they play that on the NBA sports shows and everything.
All right.
Yeah. But he didn't make it to the league, I don't think.
Oh.
So but he's gonna make it as a rapper.
Hey.
Yeah. I might swerve in that whoa. Yeah. It sounds like Cash Money Records taking over for the 9-9 and
it does.
Yeah. So that's the part that's cool about it. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah. So she's accepted this proposal and everything, and at one point, Sid and Reese run into each other at the gym. And they're doing like boxing, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they get into like a bit of a kind of a sparring match, of course, with the boxing and the whole situation. And like Reese is really mad at Sid because her husband opens up to Sid. He shares things first with Sid, right? All this other stuff. He spends a lot of time with Sid, even though they're newlyweds.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's got to, like you were talking about, got to take on this whole burden of him not really working at the point. Because he's trying to do this whole label thing, trying to raise that money, all that kind of stuff. And so she kind of takes it out on Sid in this scene, expressing her frustrations about the whole situation, which is not really fair. Sid didn't know. He hadn't told his wife.
Right. Like she doesn't like know the ins and outs of what's going on in their relationship. And that's their relationship, and that's not something that she respectfully prides in, so
all these things that she's telling to Sid or accusing Sid of are things she needs to be talking to her husband about.
Right.
Because what do you want Sid to do?
Right.
All she can really say is like, I'm sorry.
There's really not too much that she can do. Mm-hmm. It's him, but she hasn't been able to communicate that to him.
Yeah, and he's not opening up to her either.
Mm-mm.
So, they also said as soon as Sid is now engaged, Dre is on the phone all the time talking to her. trying to get her to like maybe doubt this relationship or whatever. But yeah, it's like she says, like, you knew your wife around the same amount of time. What's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But she also tells him, like, I've been seeing your wife at the gym. She's been talking to some dudes, and she seems to be okay with talking to some of these dudes. Right? She doesn't like implicate her or anything, but she's just like, you might want to pay attention to your wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is way kinder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Than she could have been, considering the way Reese came at her.
Yeah, that's true. She gave a heads up without spilling the beans.
Right. Or trying to make Reese look like the bad person or something.
Mm-hmm.
You're just saying, talk to your wife.
Right.
Which is what your wife wants to.
Right. And then he's making excuses like, well, she's a flirt, so.
Right. Oh, she's always been a flirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a bit more than that, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You're
not, and the fact that you're also like not a little perturbed at least, or concerned at least.
Yeah.
A little odd, don't you think?
I thought that was odd too, because even if you didn't like her like that, and even if you weren't focused on her, which he wasn't, you would have thought that would have made him stop and just like investigate at least.
Yeah.
So,
something.
But the fact that he blown it off and making excuses, it's like, that's your wife, and somebody is coming to you telling you like, hey, this ain't looking all that great. So you may want to pay attention, and you still blowing it off. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then of course, Sid and Dre sleep together. Finally. Dre is acting like it's no big deal. Right? And afterwards. And she's like, oh, this is a mistake. We should not have done this.
Yeah. He was more worried about the performance.
Yeah. Way more worried about the performance.
Worried about the repercussions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the relationships they're in.
Yeah.
And the people they have made, commitments to.
Right. And
he's not thinking about that at all.
Right. And she got to go see her fiance that evening. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine? Like,
and we see them like also before this, her fiance, like talking a little bit about the wedding or whatever. He seems totally uninterested in helping plan the wedding at all.
Yeah.
And she asked him about, some articles that she's written. And he was like, oh yeah, that one, it was really good. She's like, okay, what'd you like about it? He's like, oh, it was just really good.
I liked it all.
I liked everything. She was like, you really haven't read any of them, have you?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I read the one you wrote about me. It was great.
I bet you did. Yeah.
Yeah. So, from that, she realizes he's not really interested in her as who she is. So, of course, they've only known each other for who knows how long, right? Only a few years or so.
Right. But you would have thought that somebody that you're trying to spend the rest of your life with, you would take
more interest.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So. And then she discovers, Dre tells her about how he reads all of her articles. And like when she moved, I guess, to the West Coast for a while, he would get the magazine every Wednesday and read her article. So he was very familiar with all her stuff and like was interested in the same things she's interested in, but also interested in her as a person.
Yeah.
So, that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So they have their night of passion. She realizes that she is not ready to marry Kelby. And she calls off the engagement. Oh,
yeah. Oh no, wait. There's some couple of things that happened before she calls it.
True. While Dre and she are out, he gets a call talking about his wife has been seen, in a restaurant. So he drags her over there, like literally dragging her by the feet. drags it over to the restaurant, is like sitting down with him, and this is such like an iconic scene.
I had seen before. Yeah. I had seen this scene before.
And they're all sitting down together, in the booth, because his wife and this dude were all cuddled up together, in each other's faces,
having a good old time.
Mm-hmm. So he goes over there to confront them. He introduces himself, introduces Sid or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, this is my wife."
Right. He's like, "Yeah, I want to get the best champagne because we're gonna be celebrating my divorce."
What? My divorce? Clink clink. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Why did you get married? Because here we have like almost like a mirror situation with Sid, right?
Yeah.
Like she's close to getting married. They have a passionate night. She calls off the engagement.
Yeah.
He was close to getting married. They had a passionate night. He got married.
Yeah.
Whatever. She does the responsible thing and calls off the engagement. Yeah.
Yeah, but remember also before she called off the engagement, they had a heated discussion because he had got Cavi's music played at Hot 97, and then he also maneuvered a way to get XXL to write about Cavi. They did an unsigned hype about him, and so she got upset that he went around her because because of her investment, she has a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had to give the assignment to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that person did an okay job with the review. So he was thinking that she was gonna step in, and she said that she wouldn't because again it's a conflict of interest. So after that is when she went to go meet Kelby, and they were supposed to go see like a musical or something.
Yeah, some kind of show. Yeah, I think
yeah. And from that conversation,
they missed it.
Yeah, they missed it, and from that conversation is when the engagement got called off.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that she brought up, which I was like, why would you bring this up? Because she was like, it's an issue that I've been in the middle of between XXL and Dre. And it was just like, why would you say that? Like, you can't read the room that this is not necessarily the best thing to bring up right now when he's mad at you for missing. And it has something to do with Dre.
But she was being honest.
Sometimes honesty, like, you ain't got to tell every single thing, every single detail. You could have just said you was tied up with work. That ain't a lie.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think she also wanted to end the relationship. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. She could have just said, I got tied up at work,
Yeah, right.
Whatever. But I think she also wanted to kill it.
Yeah. But instead of being an adult saying that, you know what, I'm not ready, you find a loophole. Like,
But at least she didn't marry him.
Point.
So after that, this whole time she's been working on a book, right?
Yes.
Because she's this really famous reporter and stuff, so she wanted to work on this book with her history of hip hop and talking to different people in hip hop and all this kind of stuff. And she called it "I Used to Love Him" because I used to love her, whole thing. Mm-hmm. So she's on Hot 97. They've been trying to get an interview with her for a minute. So she's on Hot 97, finally doing this interview with Angie Martinez, who's got the most 2002 eyebrows ever. And those are definitely the same eyebrows I had in my senior photo the year before. So they're doing the interview. It's going, and they're going to take questions, from people listening to the interview. And it's Dre who calls up, and Dre is on his way over there in Cavi's cab. And he's asking her, like, when did you fall in love with hip hop? Because like during that whole argument they were having about her like writing the review, because of course she wouldn't write the review. Dre, hello.
There's no way she could have wrote that review.
Wake up.
There's no way.
That's unreasonable, unethical.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah.
So, but anyway. But during that whole conversation, they start talking about hip hop. And he starts talking about hip hop. And she's like, are we talking about the music or us?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, it's always been kind of both. And so when he calls into the radio station, he asks her, like, when did you fall in love with hip hop? Right. And she's like, well, I've been in love with you since I first met you, whatever. And she, admits her feelings for him. And he's like, finally, you tell me. And I'm like, sir, what? She kissed, y'all kissed before your wedding. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it could have been a fluke. So
okay, sure.
Sometimes people just need to hear it.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
What did you think? I don't know.
Yeah.
You also slept together. What did you think her feelings were? I don't.
But you don't want to assume,
Oh, she also gave you money to help you start your business. What do you think her feelings are?
She did it as a friend.
Yeah, in between kissing and sleeping with him.
Yeah. In between kissing and sleeping with him. Yeah. Friends kiss, friends have sex.
Sometimes not in a rom-com. Not in a rom-com.
Well, they don't know they're in a rom-com.
But we do. But they do actually. Well, Cavi talks to Dre a lot about kind of like old romance films with Humphrey Bogart and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have that going through there. He's like, you gotta go get your woman, Bogart. Whatever.
Yeah.
So that's when they have like kind of like that big theme. There's always like a big theme in a rom-com. Somebody's running after someone for whatever. And so he's running through the radio station to go talk to her. To confess their feelings to each other and everything. And it's cute. It's actually really cute and really sweet. Mm-hmm. And then also this whole time, Cavi's also been interested in Francine, trying to hit on her. Like at the dinner she threw, he was like, you look really nice. And she's like, thanks. And he's like, the food is delicious and nutritious. And she's like, okay.
Oh, you're getting champagne flutes. Oh, you know why they call them champagne flutes?
When she tried to give him a chance, she was like, no, why? He was like, oh, I don't really know either. Right. She was like, okay, how about when you call me?
Right. Yeah. He was acting so bashful.
Yes.
Talking to her.
He was very cute.
Yeah. And
so she's also there at the radio station with Sid. And of course, Cavi came there with his dude, because you have to have two romances,
Mm-hmm.
Even in the old pictures, you got an A romance and a B romance, Mm-hmm. And so he's over there talking to her, and she's like, do you just want to like go out sometime?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, go out with you? I mean, yeah, I mean that sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, we got to get you to stop talking about champagne flutes, though.
Right, because he's like, I finally figured out why they're called champagne flutes. I thought that was so cute, though.
Yeah, right. Like, that's his way to talk to her.
Yeah, he was like, oh, man, I'm going to have to do some work. I want to talk to her again. Okay, let me research
it. Right. And it wasn't, Google wasn't in 02, so yeah, he had to go to the library and figure that out.
He might have had to ask Jeeves,
Yeah, right. So.
But and then they play his song, his debut song for the first time on the radio station, and we get a kiss, of course, from our main couple, Dre and Sid, and that's the end of the movie.
That's the end.
Mm-hmm. But we also see them like his song being played like in a park, probably similar to the same park where they first met.
Mm-hmm.
We see a young boy and a young girl similar to them. I'm not quite sure if it was the same actors or not.
It wasn't.
Okay. But kind of like, showing hip hop, the new generation falling in love with it via this new song from Cavi and stuff. So,
yeah.
And that is Brown Sugar.
Yeah. So, question. When was it that you fell in love with hip hop?
Stop it. I think the first hip hop song that I heard and loved, or like wanted to hear again, was "My Mind Is Playing Tricks on Me."
Ooh, good one. Good one. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I used to be so scared of that video.
I don't think I've ever seen the video.
Oh, you have to see the video. So just imagine a real little kid watching that video when you watch it. Yeah, because I was a scaredy cat when I was little. So,
what about when did you first fall in love?
Well, it was MC Bree, Ain't No Future in Your Frontin'. Yeah. So my dad, every time we rode with him, he would play that song, and I just absolutely loved it. And so for my birthday, he ended up giving me the tape.
Oh, that's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yep. So that was it.
That was it.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Now, is this a movie that you can see being remade?
I don't know. Simply because of the way music is now, it's just very different. But I could see like the same type of movie being made, maybe about a different subject, right? So it might not be hip hop; it might be movies or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you could, but like it would be interesting to just kind of see how it would work because the business is different and all that kind of stuff. And you have streaming now, so I would be curious to see how they would update the script.
Maybe not so much movies. I'm kind of with. I mean, not movies. Music. I'm kind of with you on the movies thing. I can definitely see them switching it to movies because we got the whole doing independent movies and streaming them and whatnot, and that whole game in itself. So I can see them, redoing it with movies more than with doing it with music. So, but yeah, the love story part of it, I mean, we see that over and over again. So I don't think that would be an issue. But yeah.
Yeah. But you also need to get the right couple because, like we were saying before, Sanaa and Latham and Taye Diggs have really big chemistry in this movie. Mm-hmm. They really sell it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Probably what's her name? Soraya. She would probably be a good one. It would be weird because they dated in real life, but Jacob Lattimore, Soraya and Jacob Lattimore, I can see them being the leads.
Okay. I don't know who those are.
Okay. Did you watch Empire?
No. I mean, actually, yes, I did. That was a lie. I watched it.
Soraya was the singer that was signed to Empire that was with the son that was the rapper. Mm-hmm. And Jacob Lattimore. Do you watch The Chi?
I watched the first couple seasons.
Okay, so Jacob Lattimore is the one that had the 3 kids with the baby mamas. No, the 2 kids with the 2 baby mamas, and he had 3 kids and 3 baby mamas. But he married one of the baby mamas.
No, I don't remember which one that is.
He was with the dark-skinned girl.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But anyway. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. But he's on The Chi. So so yeah, I can see those 2. Mm-hmm. But like I said, it'll be weird because they dated in real life. So
yeah. Well, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I would be interested to see like what somebody would come up with. Mm-hmm. Brown Sugar too.
Yeah. So,
but this movie was a hit for sure, and the budget was $8 million.
Yeah, I saw that, and it made like 23.
28.
28. Okay.
Mm-hmm. 28.3 million. Yeah. And the soundtrack is really good as well. It charted pretty high, actually. Yeah, it was number 2 on top R&B and hip hop albums the year. Mm-hmm.
Love of My Life was a big song.
Mm-hmm. It sure was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember a lot of the music from this song. Like, maybe I should get the soundtrack. I'd be like, well, I definitely had Love of My Life at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know a person that didn't like that song.
Yeah. It's good. Like, it's so good.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it then. I enjoyed it now, even though I think Dre is the problem.
Yeah. I mean,
so let's go to our ratings.
All right, let's do our ratings. Let's see. So we have 1 movie real trash AF, 2 it exists, 3 entertaining, 4 great, 5 a true classic. So Maria, what say you?
I'd probably give this like a 3.5.
Okay.
Almost great. Very entertaining.
Okay.
What about you, Lindsay?
I would give it a 3. Yeah. I find it entertaining. I feel like it could have been a little bit shorter. And it had to be almost 2 hours. But yeah. But I mean, it was a cool watch.
Yeah. I love the vibe of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The atmosphere, the ambiance, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good, of course. We said that a million times. And like it is actually funny. It's delightful.
Yeah, yeah. It's not too serious.
No.
So it's a cool watch, on a Sunday afternoon while you folding clothes.
Yeah. Try to give you a bit of a break.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that was Brown Sugar.
Yes.
So next time we are watching Hollywood Shuffle.
Oh, Hollywood Shuffle, yeah.
Yes. And it is currently on Tubi and Pluto.
Yeah, I've seen parts of Hollywood Shuffle. I don't know if I've seen the whole thing.
Yeah. So I've seen it once. And yeah. we'll discuss further. We'll discuss further when we review it. But yeah. So it will be Hollywood Shuffle, written by Keenan Ivory Wayans and Robert Townsend.
Yes.
Directed by Robert Townsend. So
yes. It's a legendary movie. So,
yes. So yes. So Maria, where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me on Blue Sky at valormore.bsky.social. That's VALARMOR. Also have another podcast that I'm on called Nerdgasm Noir, where it's 5 Black women talking nerdy, geeky, pop culture, all that kind of tech stuff, anime, books. So come join us over there. And then where can they find you as well, Lindsay?
You can find me everywhere at L_Ranelle. That's L_RANELLE. And then you can also find me on my other podcast, The Ish We Talk. So, and we talk about a variety of topics. So, yeah.
Yes. A lot. Yes. Yeah. When I saw the new video pop up on my feed, it was like 2 hours. I was like, ooh, they were on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. We had some debates. We definitely had some debates. One of them was if Will Smith was the most famous person from Philly. And then another one was the Billboard top 25 female rappers.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So we had some great debates this past episode. So check us out.
Check that out.
Yeah.
For sure.
So this is episode 77 of Roomies Review the Movies, and we will see you guys for episode 78.
We'll see you next time. Hollywood Shuffle.
Yes. All right. See ya.
Bye.